Hello, Internet! Last time I was talking about the fastest data format we can use in Python programming or machine learning or deep learning. Today, we're gonna make the next step in the evolution of data structures. And today I want to talk to you about, give me a second, about lakehouses. I think you are familiar that we have the databases, then we have the data warehouses. You have heard about the data lakes, and now about the latest step in the evolution about a lakehouse and the delta lakes. So before we just jump in and start to program with Delta Spark, we have to have a general understanding what is a lakehouse, what is a delta lake, how we store our data, what are the technological capabilities of these open source platforms. So here we go. At first we had the warehouse, 1980s, 1990s. They were great for structured data. A lot of modern enterprises had some unstructured data, some semi-structured data. And data warehouses were not suited at all for these cases. And then we had that the company began to collect large amount of data from different sources. And you had the first analytic products, analytical workloads were emerging, and they started to build data lakes. These were data repository for raw data. But of course, being raw data, there was a problem because data lakes have some critical features. They do not support transactions, and I'm going to explain in a second what I mean. Yet they do not enforce data quality, and they have a lack of consistency. As technology evolved, company requires system for some diverse data application, SQL analytics, real-time monitoring, data science, machine learning, whatever. And since the input data were in a lot of cases unstructured data, like text, video, images, audio, but these are the types of data that a typical data warehouse like Redshift some years ago was not optimized for. And a common approach with all these companies was to use multiple systems. They had one data lake, they had several data warehouses running in parallel, and then they had other specialized systems for streaming, for time series, for graphs, and even some image databases. And well, as you can imagine, technology evolved. And now in 2020, we found here that Databricks, please go to databricks.com if you want to have an in-depth review, if you have all the technical papers, please databricks.com to have a beautiful documentation. They invented Lakehouse, and Lakehouse is a new 2020 open architecture that combines now the best elements of the data lakes and the data warehouses. And they published a beautiful graphic. So here we have our data warehouses, where you had all this clearly structured operational data. Then you had here the data lakes emerging with some structured, semi-structured, and totally unstructured data. And they were all in this beautiful lake. Then you had the ETL process, and you had some data preparation, and then all your application from data science, machine learning to business intelligence, generating reports and whatever. And now if they combine the benefits of these two structures, you have a lakehouse. The data are again structured, semi-structured, and unstructured raw data, as you have some video files, some pictures, some audio, some semantic text, whatever. And you have, of course, the same, more or less the same application. You have some streaming analytics, you have some batch processing whatsoever, and you have access to the raw data. So, a lakehouse, in our first definition, is a new generation of an open platforms that unify data warehousing and advanced analytics. Our advanced analytics application now with some raw data. If you want to have a technical report on this, I would recommend here this report from December 2020 about Lakehouse. We'll replace the warehouse architecture and the new architectural pattern, the Lakehouse, will be based on open direct access data formats such as Apache Parquet. Parquet, in my last, the second to last video, I showed you about the file format Parquet, about the speed increase you can achieve with Parquet, and they built now on Parquet, of course. They have first-class support for machine learning and data science, and they offer state-of-the-art performance. And state-of-the-art performance now also include cost, the cost structure. So, it's a new and open standardized system design, cheap and highly reliable storage. So, you need something for this, and what you need is a high-performance ACID table storage over cloud object stores like S3, for example. Again, if you want to have the technical details, I would recommend Databricks.com. Here, the report by Ambrust. Very nice to read. So, Delta Lake. We have our Amazon S3, and this is the largest, most effective storage system on the planet. Well, a little bit marketing. It's not sponsored at all by Amazon. And unfortunately, their implementation as key value store makes it difficult to achieve ACID transactions and high performance. So, what is ACID transactions? And just before, as I already told you, we have now an open source ACID table storage layer over our cloud object stores like S3, and this thing was developed by Databricks in 2020. And Delta Lake uses transaction log that is compacted into an Apache Parquet format to provide those properties that we are looking for. But so, at first, what is a transaction now? In the context of database, so it is clear, is any operation that is treated as a single unit of work. Example is you go to the bank, you withdraw some money from your bank account. You can do it, you cannot do it. Clear. A transaction is taken or not. ACID. ACID consists of some 4 characteristics. You can read in detail about this. I'm not going to read it for you. But what we have now, a reliable, consistent data with the guarantees of some ACID transaction within Delta Lake. So by implementing this, we have now a solution for several of the previous listed criticisms on our old Lambda architecture. And you can use, of course, the Lakehouse if you move from business intelligence to artificial intelligence learning, or to show you the application, machine learning, deep learning, whatsoever. You can perform this on this data layer if you want. So another graphic to visualize it in a very simple way. Here we have our streaming data coming in, our batch processes. We have now here our, if you want, 3-step from landing zone of raw data in bronze, define structure, enforce a schema, or evolve a schema as needed in the silver. And then we have deliver continuously updated clean data to downstream users and apps, like business intelligence and machine learning, of course, the course level, the gold level. Sorry. So this is the theory behind all of this. If you want to say it is, in short, the next evolutionary step of the data layer. We build on top of the Parquet file format. We make it more intelligent, and it is absolutely reliable when you use raw data. You can have some time series, and you can be sure even sometimes there's a significant problem happening with your data feed. No problem, your data will be safe and secure with the Lakehouse architecture. So, if you have Spark running in the background, we stop all Spark application because we need now another version, dedicated version running Spark. As you can see, I have a Jupyter Lab here open. I'm working on a laptop, so I'm not working in Databricks virtual environment, not on Google Cloud, not in Azure, or not on this little package delivery system. This here is a Windows 10 operating system. So first, of course, we do a pip install Delta Spark. I have a virtual environment where I have all the requirements already satisfied. I import my PySpark, and then I have my Spark configuration, my getter create. You have now on your local machine running a Spark session. If you want to have a look at it, I have here a 12-core CPU processor. Yeah, I didn't optimize the memory. Good, no problem. But this is my desktop, and you can see this is our Spark process running on a Win 10 laptop. So let's create a Spark data frame. Here, two very simple ways. At first, just arrange, and then I just here a list of dictionaries. We create our data frame. We have now data frame test, and now, as I showed you in the other video, if you write a Spark data frame, we had format and it was Parquet. And now, if you have installed Delta Spark, it is very, very easy to say data, write, format, Delta instead of Parquet, and you save it in a temporary My Delta table. And I call it, I don't know, 17 and 18. And you can store it now as your Delta data. And of course, you can read your Delta data. It takes a little bit of time. You say Spark read format Delta, and you load it exactly from, and let's take the easiest, from table 17. So you have here exactly Spark range 0 to 7. Here we have the most simple data frame, and if you want to be sure that it's an SQL data frame, PySpark SQL data frame. You can create a table. You can query the table as you're used to in Spark SQL. So we have 7 rows. You can describe the detail. You can describe the formatting of its field. No problem at all. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about the stream writing to a table. This is the next video I'm going to show you. So what we have our data frame, our Spark data frame. We create a Spark data frame, and then we can save this data frame simply in a Delta format. Now with the Delta data, we can have then a Delta table. We can query this Delta table. We can operate all our SQL queries on this Delta object. And you have the raw data, whatever data you have, visual data, audio data, textual data, all whatever you have in your Delta lake. And this is the power of this new open source Delta, how is it called? Give me a second. New data management architecture, which radically simplifies enterprise data infrastructure and accelerates innovation in an age where machine learning is poised to disrupt every industry. So, as you can see, if you program it, you install Delta Spark, you start your getter create, your Spark session, as you're used to, the whole complicated thing here, beautifully programmed by the experts from Databricks. You have here your format, and instead of Parquet, you have now a Delta format. And what this opens up to you, I will show you in the next video. And as you have seen, this is here performed on my laptop, but I suppose we're gonna switch over to the community edition of Databricks that we operate in the cloud. And if we can, let's have a look at the resources we will get with a free community edition from Databricks. I didn't check this out, but this will be the content of the next video. See you!